So far, we have seen two of my magazine design techniques. Design that fuses the five colors and move and change. Let us move on to my next design. It is titled From a Cover That is Viewed to a Cover That is Read. Introducing first is SD, which first appeared in the storefronts 40 years ago in January of 1966. SD was a unique magazine that was started with the enthusiasm of foreseeing a new era of environmental art centered on architecture with the aim of transforming the concept of art, design, and space. The veteran Mr. Keiichi Taira was chosen as the chief editor. The first issue in 1965 was designed this way by Mr. Teru Tanabe after I returned home from Europe in 1966. I drastically changed it to this kind of design from that New Year's issue. It was the emergence of a cover design which gave prominence to letters. The character layout changed considerably with every issue, this way or in this way. This is an example of cover designs of major Japanese magazines around the time SD was launched in the mid 1960s. This is Art magazine. This kind of design was prominent. The two magazines in the upper row are lifestyle related and women centric. The one in the bottom row are art magazines. These are magazines that had a wide circulation at that time. All of them have big pictures arranged with titles on top. The top left magazine is a visual culture magazine. The bottom left is a magazine of contemporary art. An important characteristic in all of them is that they have a certain photograph or painting in a fixed place. They aim to capture the eye with a show of large photographs or pictures. In other words, it is a cover design that is viewed. Among those magazines with this cover design was placed the New Year's issue of the new SD. It has been 45 years now, but people's eyes were caught by the strong shock of what on earth this cover was. What exactly was I thinking then? It was a shift from a cover that is viewed to a cover that is read. The idea that came to me when we endeavored through SD was that cover is a face. According to the ancient Chinese art of physiognomy, when looking at a human face, it is said that the vitality of the entire body can be read from the cover of the face. In ancient Chinese studies, the function of the liver appears between the eyebrows. The function of the spleen appears above the bridge of the nose, the kidneys under the eyes, the lungs on both cheeks, the heart on the nose, and so on. Through careful observation of the human face, the relationship between functions of internal organs and the shape of the face can be reasoned. By observing what happens on the surface of the face, hands, etc., we can see through the functions of the organs hidden in the body and the functions of the deeper parts of the body. You can read the internal state of the body just by looking at it. This is an interesting perception that is unique to Chinese culture. The Chinese character Su is used in words Tesu, palm reading, Ninsu, physiognomy, Kansu, jutsu, the art of physiognomy, etc. The character has an eye attached to the tree reticle. The character shape suggests a meaning of seeing the essence of the tree by staring at the tree surface or the grain of the tree. It contrives a physiognomic cover, a cover that can capture the contents It is then I thought, isn't this a good design? The cover is a face, the contents hidden in the body appear arranged side by side. SD became my place to put this idea into practice. By putting text information on the cover and explaining the contents concretely, I devised the change of the magazine cover from that which is viewed to cover that is read. Pulling out the contents of a magazine and listing them out, and then arranging the messages in the main text, giving you a sense of contents of the magazine. The entire character group is arranged with differing sizes and typefaces. It is expressed with a unique typography that is noisy. The cover is actually color printed with 4-color printing, but the 4 colors are visible only in a small portion on top. The rest of it is monochromatic letter notation. The editorial team strongly objected at first, but I insisted on this design with determination. Finally, when it was displayed on the storefront, one could feel that this cover had a different kind of air to it than the others. We had made an animation on the principles of formation of SD. Let us look at it. The covers till now were viewed with SD. I intended to recompose the theme from viewing it to reading it, not one to be looked at, but a cover that can be read. Next is the cover of seasonal Ginka. It is an Eastern typographic cover that has big characters that are powerfully arranged. If one follows the flow of the characters, one will unintentionally voice it out. The characters arranged give a good feeling when read out loud. The Raj characters, the sacred wine offering, is illuminated with New Year's decorations, fragrant green bamboo. These are the words for the special issue of the bamboo work that decorates the sake bottle for the New Year's celebration sake. The staff of the editorial team, led by the chief editor, Mrs. Fukiko Hosai, who has a great cultural sense, were led to create sentences with beautiful flow. Inspired by this, I decided to create a design that would make the readers of these magazines want to read the words on the cover aloud, that will resonate once voiced. Let us look at this in animation. For example, collecting the assorted sounds that the tin dolls make, different kinds of sound effects, they are all inked. All the various sounds are a small 4-point printed text. This is called Ruby character, the 4-point small print. A small noise appears on the cover and hums. The next issue is Sururu, a sound audible at the storefront of a bookshop. The next one is Show, an indistinct sound captures the eye, the ears. Well, then, the one appearing here is the issue, the intimacy between tree and man. It is the echo of a word song. The poet's intuition is depicted in big characters. Perpendicular to the Big Dipper is the spirit of the trees, and perpendicular to the direction of the magma. Time is born inside the tree. Matching the external time implicitly, it is correct. Shinpei Sano's poem is written in a resolute style. Now let us look at You, issue number 8. It is a design from 1975. It is a special issue with a bit of a puzzling title. The study of defiance, the study of mistakes. The design was a bit too elaborate. The content, typeface, and the size of the inlaid text all are different. It is a collection of text mosaics. The origin of this design is that I cut and pasted various forms of basic prints of the text that I had on hand to create dummy designs, and then send them to the editor-in-chief, Mr. Shigo Matsuoka. Then Mr. Matsuoka will match perfectly the number of lines and characters, fill it with a storm of wonderful words and images, and send it back within a few days. The text will be checked and sent for printing. Immersed in this kind of work, a blissful time flowed between the two of us. Time and effort were not a problem at all. I will be happy a good design comes of it. It is a product of the times 30 years ago when I put a lot of effort into it and continue to design it with excitement. This one also has a video. Please take a look. I admire the Islamic culture, especially how delicate the character calligraphy is. It is one of the wonderful traditional heritages of mankind, along with Chinese calligraphy. These are the historic Islamic calligraphy which were used as reference. With a flow like that of ripples, it is full of lyricism. Islamic calligraphy, which is multidimensional like mosaic, also considered to be like a maze, embodies the image of character arrangements in its design. Many images from the past to the present have been coming and going inside my mind. Just then, capturing it and creating its prototype involved a lot of people, and while incurring considerable costs, we learned and adopted these techniques and ways of thinking. We were going to be that figure. We have taken that kind of design approach. The next one is a drastic change. The cover of 1969's Urban Housing. It is a design from 40 years back. From Urban to Living, it is an architectural magazine that investigates the macro space and the micro space simultaneously. It was born with Mr. Makoto Ueda as the chief editor. In this 1 year, I tightly arranged worded information and icons, almost like a microfilm, attempting extreme compression of information. It is my design collaboration with architect Mr. Arata Isozaki. We turned our attention to the diversity of artificial intelligence and robots at that time and attempted to make the expansion of the consciousness and abilities of humans and cyborgs the theme. It was titled M Square Humans, Machines, Coexistence. This is manipulation of the hand. The characters arranged here are 1.5 millimeter square. They are small phototype setting characters of 6Q size. Nearly 10,000 characters can fit in using this method to fill all the space under the big characters with 6Q letters. It is the character volume of almost 16 pages of an English version book. In other words, 10,000 characters on the cover correspond to 16 pages worth of characters. For example, this issue features eyes. When and how did artificial eye come into being? When and how was the distorted figure called anamorphosis born? What kind of projector was the lanterna magica, etc.? In other words, it's full of devices that expand the functions of the eyes. This data was collected by two excellent graduate students of the University of Tokyo, Yoshiko Tsukio and Gaku Yamada, following the instructions of Mr. Isozaki. It was printed in 1.5 millimeter square characters and pasted in details like this. The design was made 40 years ago, so at that time it was all handmade with prototype setting. In this age of personal computers, this seems like a troublesome task that one cannot imagine, but looking back on it now, it was an interesting job. There is a video on this, please take a look. Mr. Isozaki and we call this a cybernetic encyclopedia, but it was a method of information compression, a challenge to a different kind of microfilm. The idea is to use the microfilm as it is for the cover. This is about the acceleration of the legs. This is about the protection of the skin. In this way, the content information keeps changing every month. This is about a collection of cyborgs that appear in American comics. It is the emergence of a cybernetic encyclopedia that compresses such information and adds visual representation. Upon entering the 1970s, we were requested to design the cover of the magazine A plus U, which we would call A and U. It is a magazine that introduces foreign architectural works. On the contrary, this cover does not have any of the fine printing that is characteristic of my designs that you have seen so far. Only the title A plus U, which is the abbreviation of architecture and urbanism, is written in large letters. This is a logo that I designed. Casting it with lead, I created a lead logo with a height like a building. I poured dry ice around it and sent air to capture the trajectory of dry ice, the movement of the wind and its trace. Or I would set firecrackers to run around it and capture the trajectory of the fire that moves in chaotically, a movement resembling lightning. We asked Yukata Takanashi, a spirited photographer, to take the photos. In addition to this, we made A plus U into paper mold and had them burnt. We used prisms to get the colors of the rainbow. This is where we use magnetic sand on a big magnet to get the noise of magnetic energy. It is a theme where spiritual power of the title lettering that appears as characters is captured. Well, what was the thought behind this kind of image? This series was created with the idea of visualizing the spiritual power, the feeling, the spirit hidden within characters, and the flow of the internal power of letters outward. The A plus U logo itself is laid and immobile. However, the spiritual power overflowing from this logo character becomes fluid and begins to move. I'm trying to visualize such an image. In this way, not just front covers with text in it, but I endeavor to bring out the spiritual power hidden in the characters of the logo. This is a poster of the character Ju Kotobuki, longevity or congratulations, that I designed. It was made to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the founding of a company called Shaken, which was founded by Mr. Mokichi Ishii, the developer of phototype setting. This complicated kanji called Kotobuki, longevity or congratulations. I tried to visually express the spiritual power emitted from each stroke of this auspicious character in all directions, and my friend, illustrator Iko Takeda, turned it into an illustration according to my instructions. This is a depiction of the spiritual power of the character Ki. The character is not a mere drawing, it is a presence that symbolizes a meaning, carries the sound of the voice, and moves noise. Every time I look at the shape of a kanji character, I can feel the spiritual power of the character. Well, let us summarize what I have talked about so far. Firstly, miscellaneous things have meaning and are brought together. The design that fuses the 5 colors and reflects my magazine sense, cover design for Ginka and Episteme appear. The first part is magazine is seasonal. Fresh things, lively things, and seasonal things come together. I tried to bring a sense of season into magazine design. Cover design of the veracity of rumors, Ginka, you, nature and culture, Japanese aesthetics, and in addition to these, the designs of the anticipated Nova Japana Literature, Mathematics Seminar, Musical Arts, etc. were introduced. Part 2 was the cover is a face, putting the content out onto the front. I planned a shift from a cover that is viewed to a cover that is read. We looked at the way SD, Ginka, U, urban housing, A plus U were transitioned. This way, we have talked about 3 themes so far. Let us take a break here.